Uncle Jerry's back, and today we're diving headfirst into the gun safe of regret. We're talking about the 10 rifles you should absolutely, positively never buy. Unless you enjoy frustration, disappointment, and lighter wallets, that is. Let's get to it. Number 10, the looks cool, shoots foolish rifle. Coming in at number 10, we have the category of rifles that look like they were ripped straight from a sci-fi movie, but perform like a wet firecracker. You know the ones I'm talking about. They're all tactical rails, adjustable stocks that rattle like a box of loose bolts, and enough polymer to make Tupperware jealous. These rifles often promise the moon, pinpoint accuracy, superior ergonomics, and the ability to turn you into a one-man army. The reality? They're usually plagued by questionable manufacturing, shoddy triggers, and a general inability to hit the broadside of a barn, even if you're inside the barn. Now, I'm not saying all modern rifles are bad. There are plenty of excellent ones out there, but be wary of anything that screams guaranteed to make you tactical, louder than it whispers quality craftsmanship. Do your research, folks. Read reviews. Don't just fall for the marketing hype and the guy at the gun store who clearly gets a commission for pushing these things. Remember, a rifle that looks impressive but can't shoot straight is just an expensive paperweight. And you already have enough of those, right? I know I do. They're called tax returns. Number 9, the Rusty Relic Resurrection Rifle. Number 9 on our list brings us to the siren song of the project gun. We've all been there. We see a dusty, neglected rifle at a pawn shop or gun show. Oh, just needs a little TLC, we tell ourselves. I can get it back in shooting condition in no time. Famous last words. More often than not, these projects turn into money pits. You start replacing parts, one thing leads to another, and suddenly you're elbow deep in rusted springs and seized up bolts, wondering why you ever thought this was a good idea. You end up spending more money on replacement parts than you would have on a brand new, reliable rifle. Now, some folks genuinely enjoy restoring old firearms, and that's fantastic, but be honest with yourself about your skills and resources. If you're not a seasoned gunsmith with a well-equipped workshop, that rusty relic is probably going to end up collecting dust in your garage next to that half-finished birdhouse from 1987. Let's be honest, the only resurrection you will be doing will be a frustration. Number 8, the too good to be true imported rifle. Oh, the allure of the international arms market. Number 8 on our list is the too good to be true imported rifle. These are often rifles from obscure manufacturers in countries you've never heard of, promising performance that rivals rifles costing 5 times as much. The reality is usually disappointing. Quality control can be questionable, parts availability is often non-existent, and you might find yourself wrestling with metric threads when all your tools are standard. You think you're getting a bargain, but you're more likely buying a headache. The other issue with these rifles is reliability. They might work great for a few range trips, but when the pressure's on, they might let you down. Remember that old saying, you get what you pay for? It's especially true when it comes to firearms. Stick with reputable manufacturers with established track records. Your safety and peace of mind are worth more than saving a few bucks. Number 7, the Forgotten Caliber Fiasco Rifle. Coming in at number 7, we have the Forgotten Caliber Fiasco Rifle. We're talking about rifles chambered in cartridges that haven't been commercially produced in decades, like the .256 Newton, the 6.5 Carcano, or the .30 40 Krag. While these rifles might have historical significance or collector's value, finding ammunition can be a nightmare. You'll spend more time scouring gun shows and online forums than you will actually shooting the thing. And when you do find ammo, be prepared to pay a premium. You might end up spending more on one box of cartridges than you did on the rifle itself. Unless you're a dedicated collector with deep pockets and a penchant for historical oddities, stick to common calibers. 223.308, 7.62x39, .30, 06. You know, the stuff you can actually find at your local sporting goods store without taking out a second mortgage. Number 6, the Jammed Up Junker Rifle. Number 6 on our list is the dreaded Jammed Up Junker Rifle. This is usually a semi-automatic rifle, often of the AR-15 or AK-47 variety, that is notoriously unreliable. It might be due to poor manufacturing, cheap parts, or just plain bad design. Whatever the reason, this rifle spends more time jamming than it does shooting. Imagine you are finally hunting that buck you have always wanted. You finally get the clear shot and pull the trigger. Click. Oh great, now the buck will run away and you wasted a trip. These rifles are often frustrating to own and potentially dangerous. A malfunction at the wrong time can have serious consequences. Nobody wants to spend their range time clearing jams or wrestling with a rifle that refuses to cycle properly. Again, research is key. Don't just assume that all AR-15S or AK-47S are created equal. Read reviews, talk to experienced shooters, and choose a rifle from a reputable manufacturer with a proven track record of reliability. Number 5, the Plastic Fantastic Fragility Rifle. Breaking into the top 5, we have the Plastic Fantastic Fragility Rifle. This is a rifle constructed primarily of polymer, sometimes to the point where it feels more like a toy than a serious firearm. Now, polymer has its place in firearms design. It's lightweight, durable, and resistant to corrosion. But there's a limit. A rifle that is entirely made of plastic is likely to be fragile, prone to cracking, and unable to withstand the rigors of regular use. These rifles often suffer from issues with accuracy, reliability, and overall durability. They might be fine for occasional plinking at the range, but they're not something you'd want to rely on in a serious situation. Look for rifles with a good balance of polymer and metal. A solid metal receiver and barrel are essential for accuracy and reliability. Don't let the marketing hype fool you into thinking that an all-plastic rifle is the way to go. It's usually not. Number 4, the overhyped tactical trend rifle. Coming in at number 4, we have the overhyped tactical trend rifle. This is the rifle that's all the rage on YouTube and social media. It's the one everyone's talking about, the one with all the bells and whistles, the one that promises to revolutionize the shooting world. But here's the thing, these rifles are often more about marketing hype than actual performance. They might look cool and have a lot of fancy features, but they're not necessarily better than a more traditional rifle. In fact, they can often be more complicated, less reliable, and more expensive. Remember when bullpups were all the rage? The Steyr AUG was going to be the future of warfare. Well, here we are decades later, and it's still a niche design. Don't get caught up in the latest tactical trend. Stick with what works. A well-built, reliable rifle in a common caliber is always a better choice than the latest and greatest gizmo that might be obsolete in a year. Number 3, the Homebrewed Horror Show Rifle. Cracking into the top 3, we have the Homebrewed Horror Show Rifle. This is a rifle that's been assembled from a mishmash of parts, often by someone with little to no gunsmithing experience. Look, I get the appeal of building your own rifle. It can be a fun and rewarding project, but unless you know what you're doing, you're likely to end up with a firearm that is unsafe, unreliable, and potentially illegal. Headspace issues, improper torque, and mismatched parts can lead to malfunctions, injuries, or even catastrophic failures. Building a rifle is not like assembling a Lego set. It requires specialized knowledge, tools, and skills. If you're determined to build your own rifle, do your research, take a gunsmithing course, and use quality parts from reputable manufacturers. Don't cut corners. Your safety and the safety of others depend on it. Otherwise, skip the build and buy the rifle from a known good manufacturer. Number 2, the Obsolete Ordnance Oddity Rifle. Almost to the top. At number 2, we have Obsolete Ordnance Oddity. We are talking about those surplus rifles that were produced in mass quantities for a military long gone. The Mauser, the Mosin Nagin, or any other variant that requires a lot of looking before shooting. Yes, they are cheap and effective, but they are often too difficult to handle, carry, and repair when something goes wrong. The ammo is often hard to find and also hard to operate, and don't get me started on the cleaning these rifles need after a day at the range. They are good as a collector's item, but not so good as the main rifle. The rifle is often big and heavy, making them more than inconvenient to carry. Number 1, the Saturday Night Special Rifle. And finally, at number 1, the rifle you should never buy, the Saturday Night Special. This is the cheap, poorly made, and often illegal firearm that's designed to be easily concealed and used for criminal purposes. These rifles are often manufactured with substandard materials, lack proper safety features, and are prone to malfunctions. They are not something you want to own for ethical, legal, and safety reasons. Owning a Saturday Night Special puts you at risk of criminal prosecution and exposes you to unnecessary unnecessary danger. There are plenty of legal, safe, and reliable rifles available. There's no reason to even consider one of these. If you get into a situation that requires you to defend yourself with deadly force, a cheap, unreliable firearm is the last thing you want to have. So there you have it, folks. 10 rifles you should steer clear of like a politician avoids a straight answer. Do your research, buy smart, and stay safe out there. And if you have made it till the end, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It really motivates me to keep posting videos. Now get off my lawn. Love you all.